Hello, how are you today? My name is Shannon, and this is my YouTube channel, Whiskey and Wool, Knitter's Life Series, Season 5, Episode 16. How are you today? I'm doing well. It is a little overcast today, and what is it? It is October 25th, so it has been 3 weeks since I last made an episode. I have been doing some traveling. I went to Texas for a little while. I might have some clips. I'm not sure, maybe some pictures. I have to see what I have that's shareable. But yeah, welcome. I'm gonna just talk to you a little bit about my knitting and some things that I've been getting up to here in New Jersey, where I work and live and craft. I live in northern New Jersey, right across the Hudson River from New York City. So you probably saw a little clip of the river. I haven't been out to film it recently, but I'm gonna go out tomorrow morning, and that'll make the edit for this video. So you'll have seen something fresh tomorrow morning. I think it's supposed to be pretty nice, but I'm going to go out and vote because we do early voting in New Jersey. And early voting means I can just walk across the street to a polling place, where if I have to I have to go and vote in my normal polling place. It's about a 10-minute walk. So it's a little closer to do early voting for me. But anyway, let me get into... I hope you're voting wherever you are. If you have an election or important ballot to vote on here in the U.S., if you're here or wherever you are, I hope you're voting and participating in the democratic process, because you shouldn't take it for granted that we'll always have this. I'm laughing, but I'm.
Get that? Could you try again?
Oh my goodness! It is not a serious. It is. It is not a laughing matter. Sorry, Siri, my phone jumped in there. Okay, anyway. I am wearing the Cien sweater by Marie Regnier. Regnier, maybe is the way you pronounce it. I finished it not that long after my last episode. I love this sweater so much. It blocked out really well. I'm going to pop a picture of me wearing it here on screen. I've just been wearing it so much. I wore it on my trip. I wore it on the plane to Texas. I wore it while I was there, and it held up really well. I don't really see any pilling, considering that I was carrying bags and, I had luggage and just a lot of movement and stuff. So really super happy with the way it came out. I would 10 out of 10 make another one. Of course, I have a pretty long list right now of projects that I'd like to get to, so it would be a little ways away before I will make it. But anyway, let me tell you about the yarn. I use Sonder yarn Fleece and Flax, which is a BFL linen blend. I use the colorway Clean Slate, which is the natural beige, and then the bright yellow is called Wake Up Call. I have a full skein of Clean Slate left, and this is all I have left of the yellow. So this was in the size I made, which I think was either size 2 or 3. I only needed 2 skeins of the main color and then 1 of the contrast color. So yeah, it did pretty good. I have another sweater's quantity of this yarn in a kind of swampy green color, like lichen color. So I'm going to save the other skein of the Clean Slate, and probably this little bit too, just in case I want to do something with a contrast color. I don't know if I will, but if I do, because I'm working on a scrappy blanket, which I've shown a number of times. I'm not going to show it today, though, I don't think, because I didn't really knit on it very much, and Anyway, this would work well in that scrappy blanket because I'm doing a group of white, blush pink, like a real soft ballet pink color, and ballet shoes pink, and natural. So I'm doing like a combo of 3 colors in a hold together multi skeins or multi strands of yarn. So yeah, it could go right in there into that blanket because I will be needing more white. However, I am knitting 2 projects with white. Yeah, I have 2 projects going on right now that have white in it, and I have a couple coming up in my queue that will have white. So I'll have plenty of white scraps to throw into that blanket. So that blanket will probably get done like around Valentine's Day or something like that, like spring, which is fine. It'll be perfect for that weather. So yeah, loved making this. I did do some modifications on the raglan, and the sweater, which you probably saw in the picture of the pattern, the neck is interesting. It kind of looks squared off in the picture, in the main pattern picture. Mine didn't turn out that way. I think I got a pretty nice crew, although it feels a little wide to me, like it could be a little closer fitting, but this is fine. This will be nice for transitional weather. I think when it's very cold, you really want something up tight, or you're gonna, wrap some knits around your neck to keep you warmer. But anyway, the modifications I made, and let me move a little closer so you can see. Since I've made the Rumble raglan a couple years ago, I learned that you can do 2 increases on raglans instead of just 1 every other row. You can do 2 in the increase round, 2 at each increase. So you end up making instead of a total of 8, you're doing a total of 16 increases. So for me, I like to have more fabric in this area here so that I get a better fit and I get more arm movement and stuff like that. I do my increases as quickly as possible. So as soon as the increase rounds start, I do 2 per increase instead of just 1. So it'll be an increase round of two in each spot, so 16 stitches total around, then a resting row, and then an increase round and a resting round, and et cetera, until I make it to the full number of increases that are required. So if you needed 32 increases, it's much fewer than you'd ever need, or than you'd ever want, I think, unless you're doing a kid sweater. If you're doing a total of 32, I would only do 2 increase rounds because I would get there. And then from there, I just knit straight. So you can get a feel for what that does to the shape. It actually comes out quite well, I think. You do get, so like my armpit's right here. So you do get, so I got all of the increases right to my armpit, and then I'm knitting straight. So I'm not doing any increases for a longer amount of time. But in looking at it, you wouldn't know that. It is still making a really nice smooth diagonal. It does cause a little bit of puckering here before you block, but once you block, everything smooths out, at least for me. And this is my standard go-to of increases ever since I made a Anne Vinzel pattern where I was increasing every round, and I ended up with these super draggy armholes where I had like a 10 or 11 inch armhole drop, which is just way too big for me. I need about 9 inches. 8.5 to 10 is the max I could go. 9 is perfect. And I think that's what I ended up with here. Like armhole drop, meaning like from your shoulder down, this is measuring about 9 inches. So anyway, I made this Anne Vinzel pattern, and the drop to get to my bust was like 11 inches. So it was really draggy. I had a really deep armhole. And then I also had a lot of puckering right here. So it like the whole sweater went up like this in order for it to fit me across in my cross chest right here. So since that experience, I avoided raglan until I did the rumble raglan and learned that I could do 2 increases in each spot in the round. So that's a long way of saying, like, that's my modification that I made on this. And you're going to see another raglan, actually 2 other raglans, the one that Martha's wearing and the one that I'm about to show you, that I'll show you when I get to whips. I did those exactly the same way, just to make sure that I get the amount of increases I need in a really short period of time. So I'm basically getting all the increases I need within about 4 or 5 inches. So then I'm knitting straight for 2 to 3, 4 inches. Yeah, so that is the Cien sweater by Marie Regnier. And if this is your first time here, I do have Cast On With Me episodes where I get a little bit deeper dive into the background, my choices, the color choices I made and stuff in my sweaters. If you're interested in learning more about that, please go back and watch the Cast On With Me where I talked about the Cien sweater. I have more finished objects. I finished the socks I was making for my son's father-in-law, my daughter-in-law's father. These are the Bear Paw Socks modified. I knit them on a smaller needle size, so I knitted on a 2.5 millimeter needle, which I think is a US 1.5 maybe, or 1 3/4, I don't know. 2.5 millimeter. And they're for a men's size 12 shoe, so they're quite big. This is hand spun yarn that I spun to self stripe, and I actually did pretty okay. I mean, there's a little bit of a mismatch. You can see the back sock has less yellow, more blue, but the rust brown and green all match pretty well. And well, I guess there's a little bit more yellow on this one here. So maybe the yellow just got distributed in a different way. So this wasn't too bad. I spun 2 skeins self-striping with the same amounts of each of the 5 colors. It was made, I bought it, I spun it from a Hello Yarn. Is it Hello Yarn or Hello Fiber? I think it's Hello Yarn. Hello Yarn paint by number color pack. The back is right there, but it's got something else in it that I'll show you later. But it was a color pack that was made from Targhee bamboo and silk. So the bamboo and silk will serve as natural stabilizers like nylon in the sock. But yeah, I think these came out really good. I love them so much. So these are a Christmas present. So I got one Christmas present done out of, I don't know how many. Many. And in a surprise, so I finished those socks right up before my trip to Texas, and that's where the guy lives that I'm getting. He lives there. I was staying with him. My son and daughter-in-law live with him. They live together because he's alone. He's a widower, and yeah, they worked it out so that they have a nice sort of family setup. Sorry, it feels like there's a hair tickling my chin. I think there is like some fuzz or something. So right before I left on my trip, I realized that I kind of wanted something small, and I decided it was high time that I knit these Halloween socks. So these are my size for me, a woman's size 8 shoe, probably for me. I think they're for me. So these were just fun to knit in the last couple weeks as Halloween is approaching. This is from Old Stash. This is, here's a skein. It's a fingering weight MCN indie dyed yarn from Stranded Dyeworks. And Stranded's been out of business for a couple years now. I think 2 years or more to be exact. But you can see how old it is if you know Stranded, if you followed Stranded at all. you know that it's at one point they switched labels, and this is handwritten. In the newer labels, this was a black band with fully printed with no handwriting. So this is really old stash. It was a special Halloween color that they made called Fright Night. And I like to knit DK weight socks, and it took me some time to figure out what socks I really like. So I had bought a bunch of single skeins of fingering weight, thinking I was going to make socks with them, but it turns out I really like DK. And so to do this, these socks, I knit holding 2 strands together. And I forgot to tell you when I was talking about, these are also bare paw, also modified, but for a woman size 8, using a 2.5 millimeter, and I knit at a tighter gauge. The pattern is written for a 325, the bare paw pattern, 325 millimeter, US size 4. Needle size, but I have worked out what stitch count I need for each size of folks in my family. So I am a size 8 shoe, as are all the women in my family. So my 2 daughter-in-laws and my other son's partner, they are all size 8. So I can make size 8 socks and gift them anytime, or wear them a little while and then gift them if I want to. One of my daughter-in-laws is always asking me for socks, so there might be some socks for her in the future, because I probably am going to keep socks on the needles for the next few months, because they're a nice small project for me to carry to and from work, and knit on in meetings and things like that, or during Zoom calls. They're pretty nice to just, crank on through. But I made these very quickly. I cast on the toe right before my flight, the night before, and I knit almost all of one sock on the flight to Texas, and then on the way home I knit a lot of the rest. I got up to about here, and I finished the leg, literally finished the cuff this morning. These have not been blocked yet, so they will get blocked. Like these other ones that I made are blocked, so the rib will spread out a bit and look a little more chunky. But yeah, these were fun. I'm glad I finished them in time for Halloween, so I'll probably wear them, constantly from now until Halloween's over. But yeah, these were a fun little knit. I just used some two strands together of a mini skein that I had of this orange that just really matched beautifully. So yeah, still have enough for some other thing. That's the one drawback with the Fleagle heel, is that if I wanted to do a contrast heel, I would really probably only get this triangle right here. This triangle shape would be the contrast, but I didn't bother, because I didn't want to splice in another color. It's easy to do it on the toe and cuff, and I actually really like these. This is my first time. Nope, not my first time, but it is my first time with the Fleagle heel with this pattern, bare paw, or DRK everyday sock, which is her fingering weight version. It is my first time doing contrast cuffs and toes. And it certainly will not be my last. This was really fun to do, and it was nice to dip into my mini skeins and use them, because I have so many, and I keep saying to myself I'm going to de-stash a bunch of them, but then I look at them and they're pretty, and I'm like, I like them. I don't know if I want to de-stash, but at some point. All right, those are all my finished objects, and yeah, let's move on to whips. So I was looking at my notes from last time, and I realized that I know I talked to you about this in episode 15, but I didn't have it down as one that I talked to you about. This is vintage flannel. I really haven't made a lot of progress on it, because I'm still working on the yoke. It's a raglan sleeve. So I did the exact same thing that I did on this, where I doubled the increases. So actually this pattern has you do every other round for a certain number of rounds, and then you do every fourth round. So all this is in my project, on my project notes too. So if you are not keeping track, but you like the results you're seeing, you can see all my details on my project page on Ravelry. So I think I did my first increase, just one increase, and then after that I doubled up the increases from here to here in the place in the section where the pattern said do every other round. I doubled them, and then when I got to the every fourth round, I did every other round. So all my increases are done by now. And again, I'm in that like 4 to 5 inch zone from here to here. I'd say it's probably about 5 inches if I were to measure. And I know I need about a 8.5, 9 inch depth. I forgot to tell you what this is. This is Vintage Flannel by Anna Johanna. As far as I know, it's a pattern that's only available in her latest book. I think it's called Strands of Joy. Again, I talked about this pattern in a cast on with me, where I really talked a lot, went in depth about the pattern make and stuff. So this isn't gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that now because I already have done that. Instead, I'm just gonna talk to you about my current place. It does have the word knit right across the front, and I just started that graphic, so I'm like 3 rows in. As I was saying, I haven't made too much progress because this did not come with me on my trip. I was gone for about 7 days a week, and I just did not think there would be space in my head to knit on something where I had to follow a chart, and I also did not want to have to bring the book with me. And I know I could have taken it to work and made a copy, and I thought about doing that, but I just never remembered to bring it in the week leading up to me going on my trip. But so far so good. I really like it. It's, like most all over color work, it's going to be quite warm. It's funny, I have 8 I have mini sweaters queued, but I have 8 that I have queued that I also have yarn for. Almost have yarn for. I'm waiting for some. My friend Lorian is bringing me some. And it's no rush, Lorian, if you're watching. No rush, because I have plenty of things to knit. And then I'm spinning yarn for one of the projects too. But anyway, I have 8 things queued that I will either have the yarn for or will soon have the yarn for. And many of them, I think out of the 8, 6 are color work. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, nope, not all. Oh, it will be all, because I'm modifying one to be all over. Those 6 will all be all over colorworks. They're all going to be warm. One is DK weight. The others, I think, are all fingering or sport weight. So they're going to be real warm sweaters. I'm going to have a lot of colorwork in my future. But colorwork is so fun to do. And, my daughter-in-laws are not exactly my size. One's much smaller than me. One is bigger by a little bit, not a lot. But knits are forgiving, so I think I can gift sweaters when I grow tired of them. But yeah, anyway, I have been obsessed with this the last couple days since I've been home, so I've been making progress. I'm hoping to get to the armhole separation, sleeve and body separation in the next few days. So yarn wise, I am using the blue is this gorgeous like tonal hand-dyed wool from Jill Draper. Jill Draper makes stuff in the base Ansel in the colorway Sapphire 2. Usually when she dyes, at least what I've noticed is she'll have like Sapphire 1, 2, 3, and they'll all be using the same dye but at different dilutions. So I picked 2. I don't know, I bought this 5 years ago. I'm finally using it. Really trying to make an effort to make it through my stash. So the yarn that I've been purchasing has been either for socks, because I did buy a handful of some yarn and a de-stash for socks, or a small amount to help me make the pattern that I'm dreaming about. This one, and I will do a recap. I do a recap of my purchasing and stuff at the beginning of the year. So I'll recap what I knit and recap what I purchased. And the last few years I've been doing really well. What always throws me off is how much I spend yarn and how much that impacts my stash. The white is this heritage wool from Indie Untangled, and it was milled by Clara Parks. It's 100% deboulé, and it was from a sheep farm in Montana. I forgot to say that the ansel is 100% super fine merino wool. So neither of these are superwash. So they're nice, and though they're very, very soft, but this one especially has a little more grip than the white. But yeah, this has been fun. I'm looking forward to having this done. I already know how I'm going to style it. So ready for that. Okay. I have a little surprise. I'm going to show you what's on Martha, and then I'm going to take it down. But when I realized that I was going to finish this and that I couldn't take that with me, and I finished the socks, so I hurry up and cast on a pair of socks. I really wanted something else that was more meaningful. Like, this was wrapping up, and I didn't have time to make cast on with me, so this is a bit of a surprise cast on. But this was so I have like 2 other patterns. I have a series of patterns that are just pretty much solid knitting, where I can just knit, like mindless knitting. So I cast on the Easy V by Caitlin Hunter. I was completely inspired by Lorian of Knitting Monologues. I gifted her some hand spun, and it was about 800 yards or like 750 yards, something like that, which is a typical amount that I make when I'm hand spinning. Like, I always want to make 1,000 yards or 1,200 yards, but I end up somewhere short of that. It's just, the way the fiber ends up spinning. And so I was curious what she'd make with it. I happened to spin a color that I didn't really like for me, but I thought it would be one that she would like a lot. So I gifted it to her, and she made the Easy V, solid with no color work. And I loved it. And I actually knit a couple rows on it in the spring. So I wanted to make one for myself. So I looked at my stash, my hand spun stash, and found that I had this lovely yarn, self-striping, in mostly neutral colors. There's a pale blue in there, a lot of white, a little bit of gray, some black, and like a caramel color. And this yarn was actually made, I spun it maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I tried to knit it into another pattern, and it just didn't work because there was just too much going on. As you can see, like it kind of creates this as hand spun often does. There's a bit of a striping effect happening, and you can see that caramel color pretty well right there. I will take this off so you can see it. I have it on 2 needles just so that it would fit on Martha. Also, it's really good for me to check the fit, because I think I am done with as I recall, I'm done with the raglan increases. But there you go. Now you can really see up close the self-striping effect. And I had spun from some Columbia wool that I got from Melly Knits, a solid white, like it came out of DK. I think I did a 3-ply. So I'm using that for the cuffs, the neckband cuffs, and I think I'll use it on the waistband too. I'm not sure. I'll figure it out when I get there. But yeah, this was a combo spin of 3 different braids. That's how I ended up with this effect. One was black and white, and I think it was fin wool, and think the other two were pretty close. They were basically cream, but they had bits of blue and that caramel color in them. They may have been two of the same. I can't remember. It's been a while since I spun this. But I really, really loved it for just a gorgeous neutral. But yeah, excited for this. So this has just been, as you can see, I took this on my trip. I think I finished the neckband before I left, and then worked on most of this while I was there, like most of the rest of the knitting. And I'm pretty close to the armhole split, where it's split for separating body and sleeves. I think I have another couple inches to knit before I get there. It's been interesting doing this without doing the color work, because the way that I was just looking at, I think I marked the rows. Yeah. So where this is, I'm supposed to knit 20 rows from this tab, and I probably have about 10. So I have another 10 rows or so, 10, maybe 15 rounds before I do the split. But yeah, it's been interesting. I've had to, and it's funny, I saw Melly knitting it. She took a picture of hers. She's making one as well with no color work. Because it's just like such a cool neckline. I really love this neckline. And I love the way Lorian's came out. It looks so good on her. I just think this neckline is pretty flattering for most people. And I think it'll be really, really wearable. No, this is a round yoke, so I did not. I followed it. So that's what I was going to say. The chart, you have to look at the chart. If you're doing it with no chart, you still have to look at the chart to see where the increases are. So I've been following it pretty much. I think I'm trying to pay attention to where the separation should be, and I may do my increases earlier, my next round of increases earlier, to do that separation earlier. Because it is another one of those patterns that looks pretty like it has a pretty deep armhole, and I just don't like that look. It just looks so sloppy on me. It's not a look for me. I love the way Caitlin's looks on her. I do not have faith that I will execute this in the same way to the same effect, which is a problem that I have with a lot of Caitlin's patterns. I've had that problem with her patterns in the past. So yeah, it's not like I'm saying it based on nothing. But yeah, this has been a really nice knit to have handy for socializing, and it's good for Zoom calls too if I'm home. I just don't want to carry such a big project to and from work. Is that all my whips? Yeah, that's all my whips. So I'm gonna cast on another pair of socks soon, like probably before the end of the weekend, just so that I have something to take with me. I have a little drippy nose. I ate ice cream right before I started podcasting, and my whole face was so cold. And I'm having like a little effect. Yeah, so let me move on to spinning. I did do some spinning, of course, not while I was gone. I do have drop spindles, but I'm not good on them, and all my spinning happens, unless I tell you otherwise, it's on my spinning wheel. So I think I showed you this on the bobbin last time, but I did wind off and soak the cashmere yarn that I made. Anyway, I chain plied it, so it's a 3-ply, and I think it's up around 200 yards. So it's only 2 ounces, and I believe it's a DK weight because you get more yardage to the weight. Right? I think that's the way it works with the camelids fibers. So yeah, it's really, really soft and silky, and I am excited because Lorian is purchased for me some more cashmere fleece. I bought it. She was just the agent. She's the middleman. More cashmere fleece for me to spin, and I'm hoping that the two colors will hang well together and will make a nice cashmere something. I also finished, I worked a little bit on it before I left, and actually I think I had it all the way up to a bobbin before I left, and I wound it off a couple days ago after I was back. This beautiful merino spin dyed by Yarn Jam. I don't remember the colorway name, but I'll put it on screen. I did a 2-ply? No, it's a 3-ply. I did a 3-ply. I did kind of a quasi-fractal. I stripped the roving in 3 parts, and one I spun end to end, and the other 2 I separated again in 2 parts, like vertically. So to do fractal, you strip the entire roving vertically, hand-dyed roving vertically, and that gave me this like pretty consistent colors. I don't think I get a little bit of a striping effect. I guess you can kind of see it right there, but it probably won't be as drastic as this striping effect, I don't think. But yeah, it was a one skein wonder. I have a lot of those in my future of spinning, and I am working on, this is a sweater spin. I am spinning some old stash. So again, like my yarn, I'm trying to work through my fleece stash. The goal is to get all my stash. I have a new cupboard storage system that I showed maybe a couple episodes ago, but I want to get it so that all my stash, at least my yarn stash, fits inside the cupboard. And it's going to take me a while. It'll probably take me a year. Maybe we'll check in again on that a year from now. But anyway, this is old fiber stash. This is by John Arbin. It is a merino Scottish down blend, 50-50 blend, and it is their commercial roving, commercial top, maybe, might be top. So it works into a heather. You can see there's quite a lot of black, and there's also some white in there, and this like pretty bright orange that gets tamped down by the other colors, the white and black fleece. So I am making a 2-ply because my experience with John Arbin's fleece fiber is that there's a lot of poofing after when it gets soaked. There's a lot of like just explosion. So when I've done 3-ply in the past, they've come out pretty heavy, like worsted weight, and I don't really like to wear worsted weight. I love to knit with it, but I don't really like to wear it except maybe in hats. So I decided to do a 2-ply, and I'm hoping I'll land in the DK range, or sport range even would be better. Sport is actually what I'm hoping it'll end up as. I think it should end up as sport, because I'm spinning pretty thin. So I think if it were not gonna grow, not gonna poof, it would probably be fingering weight, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna poof. So anyway, I have a total of 3 bobbins of this fleece, and I am planning to make 6 and then 3 skeins. Hopefully they'll land around 300 yards a piece, and that should be plenty for the sweater I'm planning, which I'll talk to you about when I get there. No reason to talk about it right now. Okay, last I have some new stash. This is fiber stash. If you recall, maybe from a couple months ago, I joined one of Melly Knit's clubs, which is the best ever because shopping her updates is really stressful. Like, you're just not stressful, but your chances of getting something are small because she's so popular, and her products are not impacted by the tariffs at all, so her prices haven't changed. But anyway, oh my gosh, this fleece that I got with this club, I'm a member of her Jiggly Butt Club, and just bear in mind the price there you're seeing is Canadian, so not what I paid. But this fleece was a wonderful surprise for me. The fleece is Corriedale. Oh my gosh, you're not going to be able to read it, but I will read it to you. It is 90% Corriedale and 10% cashmere. So gorgeous. The Corriedale, though, is from the same sheep farm that the white Corriedale that I scoured and spun myself. I scoured poorly because I ended up with some felting. And it's so funny because when I was spinning what I had scoured, in my head I was thinking, wow, this isn't the way it would come out if Melly did it. Like if Melly processed it, it would just be so much more beautiful if she processed it. And I get to actually see what that's going to be like. So I'm so excited. That was just such gorgeous, gorgeous fleece. Like you can see she gave a lock of the fleece here, and this is like her style of packaging. And then you get a tag to put on your finished skein. And what I've done with the yarns that I've made from her fleece so far, I put both tags on the skein so I can remember. I get the label with the content and the source here. So, but yeah, this is going to be so nice to spin. I'm very excited. I haven't yet spun my other Jiggly Butt Club. Jiggly Butt started in, this is August. So my August fleece is queued for me to spin. So I may do that when I'm done with this sweater spin that I'm working on right now. I don't have much fleece for sweater spins unless I start doing some more combo spins. But I don't necessarily love the effect of combo spins. Some of the combo spins that I made, I went combo spin crazy last year because I was trying to spin through my fleece stash. I had a bunch of fleece that I purchased willy-nilly, and I didn't have a plan. It was just like 4 ounces here, 100 grams there. It wasn't really, I bought more than I could spend at the time. It was before I started my routine of spinning every morning, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes. So now that I'm doing that, I often will spin for much longer than that, and it really helps me work my way through on my fleece stash. So I still have a bunch of 4-ounce braids that hang alone, and to make it more complicated, I bought some de-stash from folks, just because I can't resist sometimes. Like the prices are so good in de-stashes, and I really enjoy like buying de-stash. I've only bought a few skeins of yarn de-stash wise this year for socks, specifically for socks, and I purchased 6 bags. Is that right? Yeah, because I recently got 2 other bags of no, maybe there's 3, might be 7 total bags of fleece, but it's fine. I'm spinning through everything, and I've sort of gotten over the fact that I end up with a lot of single skeins. It's okay, because I can easily de-stash those myself, and I've gotten the joy out of the spin, so I just de-stash and move on. So I did de-stash quite a bit earlier this year, and I may de-stash again, like early, maybe January, February, somewhere around there, when people are still thinking, most people are still thinking about knitting, because I know that in summertime people don't knit so much. I knit all year round, but I don't think everyone knits all year round, and that's fine. You do what works for you. I can just tell you that for me, I am just really loving, even though I know I don't post a lot on YouTube even. This is my first video in 3 weeks, and I don't post very much at all on any of the other social media that I use. My most frequent posting updates are on Ravelry. So if you're friends with me on Ravelry, or if you want to be friends, just friend me. I friend everyone who reaches out. And that's probably the best place to see updated photos, because I'm updating them for myself because I like to see the fresh update so I can kind of see where I'm at with my project. So I post there more often than I do anywhere else. And I don't post there all that often. I don't do even weekly updates there, but every couple weeks or so I will post updates of sweaters and stuff. Oh, I will put this at the end. I have a picture of my granddaughter wearing the unicorn sweater that I showed last time. Adorable. She popped it on over a pretty full skirt, so if it looks like there's a weird shape to her lower half, that's why. But yes, it's so cute. So I'll put that in along with maybe some other clips or pictures or whatever of her or of my cats as usual. But yeah, thanks so much for being here with me today. I hope you enjoyed this update video and seeing my new projects. And since I have 2 projects where I'm up here on this part, it's maybe a while before I do a cast on with me, but man, I am scheming some new cast-ons. I am a little bit torn over what to cast on next. I have 2 bright colored cardigans planned. I think one of them is going to win. I don't know which. But yeah, I'm probably going to do, I think I know which one I'm going to do because I already filmed a little bit of me going through the colors and trying to figure out colors. So I think that I know folks really like to see those videos. So I will definitely have that, as well as some new socks are definitely on the horizon. But I don't do cast on with me with those because it would be so boring. It would be like 2 minutes. And in kitchen news, they still haven't started, and I'm to the point where if they don't start in the next 2 weeks, I'm canceling the job, and I think I'm going to look for a new place to live that has an updated kitchen. That's where I'm at. I am so frustrated with how long this has taken, and maybe that's normal that it takes that long, but I am over it, and tariffs keep getting added and taken away, and it's super confusing, and I just want to put this process behind me, or at least do all the purchasing when I know what the prices are going to be and they're not going to change. So yeah, I'm completely stressed out to be honest, like about it. So I have to tell my guy it's now or never. So maybe by the next time I do an episode, maybe they'll be underway and I'll be stressing out over the fact that they're working in my apartment every day. Wouldn't that be nice? That would be a nice change. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, my dreams of having the kitchen done in the summer came and went, and my dreams of having it done before Christmas are dying. And if he doesn't start before Thanksgiving, I'm done. I'm just done. I'm gonna house hunt and move to a place that has a new kitchen, because this is more stress than I can take. Anyway, all right. I hope you are doing well. I hope everything is going well for you in your world, at least with your projects and your knitting and your crocheting or whatever you're crafting. I hope you're enjoying it, and I will see you again real soon. Bye.